Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm in Vincennes, Indiana, about an hour north of Evansville there on US 41. I'm not on my way to Chicago to get a load like I talked about in my last video, because it is Saturday, June 8th, and the watermelon load had a little hiccup. So just when you and the watermelon load, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link up here. You can click up here and watch that, and then come back and watch this if you want to, or you can watch this and go watch that. I mean, I'll explain to you what was going on. I brought a watermelon load up from Tampa to Auburn, Indiana. The place I was dropping it off, and this is trucking, guys. When you think you've done everything and seen everything, you get something totally new. So the load I dropped off, the watermelon load, where I dropped it, the inspector is only there from 4 in the morning to noon, and I dropped off at about 1:30 yesterday. So on my paperwork it said counted, not inspected. So apparently they just set it on the dock and waited for the inspector to come in this morning. Inspector comes in, he tests it, he rejects them, all of them. Almost 2,500 watermelons he rejects. They tested 5 of them. Nothing I did, nothing I could have done differently. It was a sugar content. He was telling me they probably just picked them before they were ripe enough. And I said, well, I was the second truck to pick up at this particular farm. And he said, yeah, they probably ran out of watermelons. They had orders they needed to fill, so they picked them too early for that breed. And so that's what's going on. The broker calls me. You know, the place I dropped them off at yesterday, they really wanted them off their dock today. You know, it was a very busy place, you know, 24/7, 365, you know, type receiver. They wanted them off their dock. They did not want the liability of them sitting there. So the broker calls me, says, hey, how far away are you? Is there any way we can work out a deal for you to go back and get those? And I had to really think about it, because I wanted that Chicago load. That Chicago load was a great paying load. It had $3,200 revenue on that load, and it was about a 680 mile loaded load. It would have been right at $4 a mile, even with deadhead of about 150 miles in there. You know, we're still right at $4 a mile. So, but I called the carrier I'm leased to, because that's a direct customer in Chicago, and you know, we were trying to work out a deal where maybe I could pick it up on Monday or Sunday, but the watermelon issue, I had to take care of that, and I didn't want to hold up, or I didn't want to make promises I couldn't keep to that customer, so I had to just let that load go. They put another guy on that load. Really hated to lose that revenue, but I had to take care of my customer I had on this watermelon load. So, because this broker is pretty much all that broker does is move produce. They have produce in their name. That's how much produce they move as a brokerage. So I definitely wanted them, you know, I didn't want to burn them and have them, you know, think ill of me, even though I was not obligated to go back and get that. The way it worked was everybody in the chain agreed that we were going to deliver those yesterday, and you know, it was on the brokerage and the receiver to take it at that point, because you know, we had worked everything out where that was going to be the delivery time. So they called me this morning, says, hey, the watermelon load got inspected, they rejected it, it's low sugar, it's nothing you did. Could you please go back and pick those up, because they are wanting them off their dock today, and it's Saturday. And I was like, oh, I don't want to, but I was only 10 miles away. You know, the truck stop I stayed at last night, I was 10 miles away. You know, sometimes you got to take care of, sometimes you don't get the revenue you want. You got to take care of your customers for, you know, long-term business strategy. The broker understood that it was not my responsibility to go back and get those. So they gave me, I drove them down here. I'm about 250 miles from where I was, where I picked them back up at. They made it okay for me. I mean, they called the customer and told them I was going to be there to come get them. So as soon as I back in, boom, they threw them right back on. And then I drove them down here. I might as well go ahead and drive them today. I hadn't done anything all day, so I drove them down here. I said, I'm going to go check just to see if this customer, where I'm dropping them off at, it's a farm I'm dropping them off at. So I thought, hey, I'll take a shot. I'm like 8 miles away from there. I'll run over there and see. But the broker had told me they're probably not going to unload them till Monday. So they gave me $700 to drive them down here. Like I said, it's about 250-ish, maybe 270-ish. It's somewhere in that ballpark. I haven't looked at the miles exactly yet. Because they sent me the address. They told me to go ahead and start heading this way, and I drove, I don't know, probably an hour or two before they sent me the address to this place. They gave me the town name, but they didn't have an exact address. So, yeah, I think it's probably going to end up being about, I'm looking at my mileage now is the reason I'm thinking about it. It's probably like 260-ish on the miles. So not a bad rate. And then they give me $500 to set here from Saturday afternoon to Monday morning. They said there could possibly be somebody come in tomorrow. I'm going to call them in the morning and see, but more than likely, they're not going to be anybody there on a Sunday. So I'm probably going to have to stay here on it till Monday, like a day and a half. It's not optimal. I would much rather it took the load out of Chicago, but at the end of the day, I squeaked in an extra little load on the hours I had, and to make the $700 to come down here, and the $500 to set for the weekend. And that's my money. That's not, that's not an 80-20 split on that. That's kind of side money. So, it's not great, but at the end of the day, if I pick it up I should be able to get it off on Monday morning early. Hopefully get a reload on Monday. So it's only going to cost me 2 days. And, it's basically 2 days. It's more time than anything. It's 260 miles driven. And, after the 20% of the mileage is taken out, I'll still make like over $1,000. So not bad for 250 miles and then setting a day, basically. I'm hoping that, I'm actually hoping they don't unload it tomorrow, because if they call me and want to unload it tomorrow, it's going to screw up me getting a reset in. If I sit here till Monday, I can get a reset by Monday morning, and, which I don't really need a reset, but I mean, I was pushing in like the 50-hour range, but I've been doing a lot of like 6 and 8 hour days for the last week, so I'm not really pushed that hard on hours. But if I can grab a reset, I can grab a reset. That way, if I grab a load that needs to be moved, I'm not worried about, well, do I have hours, or how many hours am I getting back today versus, I don't like having to do recaps a whole lot. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's what's going on. Babysitting some watermelons. It's probably going to cost me another $40 or $50 in reefer fuel. I got over half a tank right now, so I'm not too worried. I mean, it's like not that bad out, so I'm not too concerned about burning up a bunch of reefer fuel. But it is part of it, and yeah. So I would say for the 2 days and 250 miles, I'm probably going to end up with like $1,050 or something like that. I think is what it works out to. So that's what's going on, guys. Sometimes sometimes it don't work out like you hoped it would, but in all, not a terrible scenario. Not great, not what I wanted for the weekend. I wanted to grab that other load and make some real money. If I would have done that load finaled out like Tuesday afternoon, and I probably would have made about $2,000 on revenue on that one. So the way I'm looking at it is, yeah, I missed out on that load, but like and when I say 2,000, excuse me, I said 2,000 revenue. 2,000 after variable cost is probably what I would have made on that Chicago load, and it finished out Tuesday afternoon. So if I can grab a load Monday and make some money Monday and Tuesday, you know, I'm making half already just by Monday morning, just for sitting here. So it's not the end of the world. You know, it's good revenue to not be putting miles on the truck and getting a 34-hour restart in. It's rare that I get paid to do a 34-hour restart, so I'm not going to cry about it too much. You know, I try to look on the bright side of things and keep, you know, keep the positive attitude. Things seem to work out for me. I don't know. So I try not to stress it too much, because, you know, that's what stress does. I don't have enough hairs to be stressing and pulling on them. So, I try to keep it light and keep positive. And, but yeah, guys, I'm going to get off here. That's what's going on. Thanks everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Channel is growing. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the comments and all the love. Take care of one another. Later.